Good evening, everyone. Welcome to tonight's special call agenda, Muskogee City Council, April 21st, 2025. Would all stand up for the invocation? Dear Lord, thank you for looking over our community. I feel that these are special times, wonderful opportunities for our community, wonderful opportunities for our citizens. A lot of responsibility on this council, which is ready and willing to move forward on important things for our community. Just look over our council, continue to give us wisdom and guidance. In Jesus' name, amen. Attention, salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I salute the flag of the state of Oklahoma, its symbols of peace unite all people. I think Teacher Cranford would give me an F for every time I try to do that pledge.
Oh, no, I just keep working with you.
I might get a better grade at the end of the year. Roll call, please.
Mayor Patrick Cale.
Here.
Deputy Mayor Jarek Reed.
Here.
Jamie Stout.
Here.
Tracy Hoos.
Here.
Shirley Hilton Flannery. C.B. Abel.
Here.
Melody Cranford.
Here.
Dan Hall.
Here.
Tom Martindale.
Here. Item number 1.
Discuss and take possible action to select projects with estimated cost for the 2025 CIP tax program and provide direction to staff to prepare documents and take other action to call for an election at the next city council meeting held April 28, 2025, or take other necessary action.
Thank you. Tonight we'll be talking about our 2025 CIP projects. This council has worked hard on this. We've got 4 different proposals that we gave strong consideration to each one of them. One of the considerations I would call the very conservative option. It only had city projects, city needs, urgent city needs. Another one I would call semi-conservative, and it stayed with the same, but offered a little bit to the Martin Luther King Center and the downtown revitalization and the hat box upgrades, and I'll go into explaining those later. Some of you may have questions, and we have some counselors here that would like to explain how it's going to work for them and how they'll use their funds. On this semi-conservative, we've got a street program of $6 million. My hope is that before the 6 years is up, that we can get some granted matching money from the foundation. That would be conservative. It would be 6 years. It would be smaller revenue, and it would afford us. We wouldn't be biting off more than some might want us to bite off, I should say. We had a couple of 8-year plans, and they weren't crazy plans by any means. It just brought in a little bit more money, and it did allow us to fund other projects with more money. Some of which we're very, very supportive of. We had a good number of council members and some public support of this 8-year plan. there were some on the council that just thought maybe we should be just a tad bit more conservative, given the situation right now with the government, new things going on, taxes, the tariffs, just a little bit of uncertainty. And we're all hopeful that that'll work itself out, but there's just a little bit of uncertainty there. The other, option number 4, the other 8-year plan, was similar, very, very similar to option 3. It just had a few little tweaks with some minor additions and minor subtractions. So those were pretty close. Everything speaks for itself. The library rehab is what it is. The downtown revitalization is not nearly what they would like, but it's enough money for them to get started working on grants and other means of collecting money for that project. So I'll let someone speak to that a little bit more. Hatbox upgrades, that's very conservative, and we have stuck mostly with the needs of the children, these Little League baseball and softball tournaments, strictly the needs of those kids, pragmatic, practical needs for those kids to enjoy the fields out there. So it's been scaled down. We would like to, the event center, if any of you have had the opportunity to go there, very nice facilities all the way around. We're starting to bring in more people for more functions, and we'd like to do, by no means can we do it all this year or this go-around, but we'd like to get the parking lot out there in some good shape. So other than that, that's kind of what it is. Same thing with the Martin Luther King Center. I believe Deputy Mayor has looked into some other opportunities that he might discuss later tonight, and with the amount of money that we will hold, we can build off of, and maybe after 6 years or 7 years, we'll have the money to do the project, or nearly all of the money to do the project. And then we go with the Civic Center, the HVAC, which is a necessity. We have a port agreement that we've got to keep. I think it was, manager, was it related to the berms around the port?
I believe so.
Project, yeah. So as you guys know, the pipe plant and everything out there, including, cross our fingers, the water facility out there. So this big berm goes around everything out there so that nothing will ever flood again like that. And so we're preparing for the future, but it was a bad deal, and the city does not want to learn that lesson again. So that's kind of it in a nutshell with our 4 options. What I'd like to do is take some of these folks that have signed up to speak, and after that, I'd like council to present some facts or ask some questions or whatever their pleasure is. So for now, Joshua Cotton, I think you're here to talk about Hatbox Youth Baseball.
Yes.
Come on up. And I know I mentioned your name, but just say your name and that's all you have to say. And then you have 5 minutes.
I'll do my best. Josh Cotton is my name. And I just came to speak on behalf of the Muskogee Youth Baseball Association and partially from the Girls Softball Association here in Muskogee. I'm the current president out there, so I've been on it going on my 2nd year now. We've made a lot of improvements, but I think what I'm up here to do to talk to you guys about is just kind of reinforce some of the things that we're seeing, some of the trends that we're seeing out there with our youth baseball and softball, and some of the struggles we're running into. There's definitely some areas of improvement that we would like to discuss, that we see that we believe we can make pretty solid impact in the youth of Muskogee and the kids of Muskogee. And that's kind of what I'm out here to do. So a couple of things, just some statistics, because we all love numbers, just like me, and it's kind of part of what I do. But between January 1st of 2024 to today, we've had 701 enrollments for baseball players. Now, you can take that number, and I've spoken with the Girls Softball Association, and you can pretty much double that, maybe go a little bit higher. So we've got about 1,400 to 1,500 kids that have played out there in about the last year. Total emails this season, just because we do a lot of communicating with parents and players and our umpires and our staff and our personnel and things like that, we're right at about 15,256 so far this season, since probably about late February. So we've got about 150 to 175 volunteers from spring of 24 to spring of 25. That includes assistant coaches, dugout volunteers, parents, anybody that's included inside the fields that comes on those fields. We do the background checks and so on and so forth. It's about 150 to 175. So we've got 32 schools that are represented just from this spring of 2025. And we've got the communities that are represented range from Warner, Wagner, Wainwright, Oktahoma, Oakay, Keys, Haskell, Fort Gibson, Eufaula, and Chakotah so far. So we've got some homeschool, we have Epic schools, things like that. And so we have a pretty wide-ranging influence of kids coming into Muskogee to play baseball from all around our community. What we'd really like to see, and what we're seeing the trend of, is we're losing some of these teams. The baseball programs are slowly dwindling down just because we're reaching some pretty fierce competition from some of the other communities around us. Fort Gibson, Chakotah, Tahlequah, Always, Coweta, Broken Arrow, Tulsa, those communities. So we constantly compete for those players to be here, utilize their own facilities in their hometown, and that's what we're trying to kind of improve. That's our goal. So, baseball is kind of a funny sport. Most of us have played it or played softball, or we have a relative or somebody that's played it before. Somebody's involved in baseball or softball. And it stretches back years and years. I don't know if a lot of you are familiar with this, but we had professional baseball in Muskogee before Oklahoma was a state. And we've had a long history of baseball throughout here. And we just really feel, through seeing some of those kids, it just really increases a lot of great characteristics that we want to see from those kids around here. Discipline, commitment, mentoring, structure, respect, accountability. When they're out there with their team, they learn about teamwork. They learn that it's not just one person making a difference. And I think those are traits that we definitely want to see in the city and for our future generations that are going to be in the city. And we want to retain them. I've got some history with different boards with the city, and I understand the need for our population to try to stay here. That's what we want. But you got to make it attractive for them to want to stay here. You got to make them want to live here. And I know that's a hard thing for you guys to do. But I definitely think the youth sports in Muskogee, that complex out there, is definitely a way to do it. When you go out there and play, you want a nice facility to play at. You want to be protected. You want your kids to be safe out there, or as safe as we can make it. And that's part of the things that we're trying to do out there and accomplish through the Muskogee Youth Baseball Association. We're coordinating with the Girls Softball Association, and we haven't gotten to it yet, but we hope to coordinate with the soccer and the football as well. It's a large complex. There's a lot of great things out there that we can utilize, and we're trying to make it a little bit better. So I just think, we can grow. We used to be, some of the folks that we've spoken with, at one time we were running about 80 to 100 teams every season. It's a lot of kids. Right now we're probably running about 20 to 25. So we've dwindled down quite a bit. So I think we can make it a little bit better, make it something that'll be attractive, and hopefully it'll increase some economic development somewhere down the road. So I think I'm out of time.
Got a question for you.
Yes, sir.
What's your salary out there?
My salary, it's like a whopping $0. It's all volunteer. So.
From what I hear about the time you put in out there, you don't sleep very much.
No.
Something's not adding up.
No, it doesn't add up very well. I think my wife can attest to that.
I just want to thank you for taking your time for the kids and trying to build this program. I know that you work hard to get a lot of volunteers, you can get volunteers when you're working your butt off and they're watching you. So it's men like you, women like you that make these things happen for our community. And I'll support you all that I can. I'm sure everybody up here will support you all that they can. But kudos to you and the folks out there.
Thank you, guys. We
Thank
got a
you.
good team. So,
Mr. Mark Hughes.
This time I'm sticking to the subject. I support 80-90% of the projects. But for months, we've been asking for a line item detail of how we spent the money on 2019, and we haven't gotten it yet. So I guess even Dr. Mendenhall at the last CIP meeting we had with all the community people involved and everything else said it was a good idea that we find out how we spent the 2019 CIP money by a line item. And the city hadn't produced it yet, and we don't understand why. So I guess my point being is that if you all can't produce a line item budget about how every penny was spent in 2019, why should we trust you with more money for this CIP? So I'm voting no, and I'm going to spread the word saying that apparently the city doesn't want to be honest, doesn't want to be transparent, doesn't want to try to win confidence from its constituents because it's not coming forth with how you're spending our money. I mean, I don't know about you guys, but if somebody told me in my business, I spent $2 million, but I'm not going to give you a line item printout of exactly how I spent it, then how do I know where the money went? It wasn't embezzled or whatever. I'm not saying it is, but I'm just saying, how do I know where it's been spent and what exactly it's been used for and used for properly? And making sure that you all do your fiduciary duty to us for our taxes. So for that reason, I'm voting no. I'm encouraging everybody I can get a hold of to vote no.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes, sir.
if you knew or remember, you guys requested this a few months ago, and you may have been requesting it for longer, but when I talked to somebody, it was, I'm going to get that for you. And I brought some information. I think I sent it to Ron Dean, and he forwarded it. And it was information broken down to each program, but it was not broken down to each check written, okay? It was some time that I understood that was more of what you wanted. You want to see, you don't want to see $10,000 that went out.
Right.
You want to see what 5 things added up to that 10,000.
Correct. Yes, sir.
As you know, this council has committed to giving that kind of transparency, if you will.
Okay.
That's their commitment. And I'll make a commitment to you. I like to make excuses like everybody, so I'm going to make my excuse.
And stick to it too now.
These guys, city staff, have been working their tails off.
I'm sure they have, yeah.
They don't put as many time in as Josh does, but they put in a lot of time and have on our budget. We'll be finishing up with that in short order. I'll make a commitment to you, and Deputy Mayor Reed's going to help me.
He doesn't know it yet, but
And
yeah.
he doesn't know it yet, but he's going to help. He's a good helper. He can get more done than I can. I don't know how he does it, but he can. So I call on him. We will get that out to you and be what it is, good information for you, bad information for you. It's information that you have wanted.
Right.
And then, and I'm not going to ask you now, but if we get that out and folks are satisfied and you're satisfied, maybe you'll reconsider.
Oh, I certainly will.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Thank you, and I appreciate you, and that's a fair request.
And that's an honest commitment. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Mayor, can I also refer our citizens? We put out documents, we put out brochures that highlighted some of the things that came with the 2019 CIP. So I think it's kind of fair on our behalf if we invite citizens to go look at the completed projects. They're out there, completed projects. We've done what we have destined to do with the 2019 CIP, 2014 CIP, and you can see the proof all over town.
Well, I'll make sure to get word out on that so it can be spread.
Would this possibly be put online so everybody can see it?
It's already
Yeah.
published. It's
Yeah.
already published, and.
No, I'm talking
Well,
about the line item.
The line
penny by
item
penny.
stuff, it can be put online.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, thank you.
I think though, speaking to our transparency of what has been done already, we did that. And if you were at those, I know you were because I'm part of that committee. We spent, first of all, before we ever formed that committee in council chambers, every entity that received funds came and made a presentation of how those were spent. They went through tasers and gas masks and all those different things. And then again, at that committee meeting that was shared, our first meeting, that's all that meeting was going through every entity and what they had done with that money, what was remaining, and what was still left to do from the 2019. So that was done publicly.
Yeah, and I don't remember one penny. So that's why it needs to be in writing.
Yeah, that's,
It was in writing. It was in writing. It was in a binder. Every person on that committee received that binder, and you were in that meeting, not part of that committee, but I know that you
And I
did
was
see
not part
it.
of that committee. I did not receive that binder.
Right.
So
But
what
it
I'm
is-
saying is
I'm
is that
speaking
they
to our
may have gotten that, but the
transparency.
public was never made that.
The
given that
public
information.
was, and I'm speaking to our
Well,
transparency
Okay, we disagree,
about it.
ma'am, because
Okay.
it was not it's not online, it's not on the website. No one mailed it to me, no one emailed it to me. It has not been distributed beyond the committee.
we
So-
appreciate you,
Thank
Mr.
you.
Hughes. You're always here, and I appreciate that very much because you're really involved. The mayor's committed to get that to you, and I believe that he will.
Oh, I know.
So I think you'll have it in writing, because I understand if you were told it at a meeting, it's hard to retain that. So I think if we get it to you, that'll probably take care of
I
it.
agree. Thank you.
We
Thank you.
need community leaders like yourself
Oh, I'm not a
to
committee
be
leader,
in
I'm just an
favor,
agitator.
well, you are to me, in favor of this CIP. And if you're in favor, but I don't blame you, we're going to get you. Thank you.
That's what I appreciate about you about being mayor. You
Thank
say
you.
what you're gonna do and you get it done.
I usually do. Thank you.
Oh, if you don't, we'll let you know.
Okay, Miss Ren Stratton. There she is. She was hiding.
Good evening. Ren Stratton. Do you
Thank-
need my address?
No, ma'am.
Okay. First, I want to say thank you to all of you. Developing this CIP has been a difficult process for all of you. You've had lots of voices that you're trying to sort through and listen to. Ultimately, you get to make the decision, and we respect your decision, right? So I just want you to know how much I appreciate your time. You don't get much reward for all this effort, except knowing that you will have moved Muskogee forward. That's your reward. I could bring all kinds of statistics. I'm here in support of the Downtown Revitalization Project. Main Street publishes huge amounts of statistics about the impact that downtown revitalization can have on a community. I can only tell you that it's worthy. Every strategic plan that we have done in the last 25 years, downtown revitalization has risen to the top of the list of what citizens wanted to have happen. Both the inclusion of Hatbox and the inclusion of downtown revitalization have the potential for making money for this city. They could be revenue generators with some investment on the part of the citizens. We acknowledge that the citizens cannot pay, nor can the foundation pay for all of this. So by including the library and Hatbox and Martin Luther King Center and downtown, each of these groups are aware that they're going to have to bring in some money from outside Muskogee. But your approval on this CIP gives us the leverage, gives us that opportunity to go ahead and multiply that money by getting grants and going to other sources. So I really encourage you to consider downtown for the $2.3 million, and thank you for your time and always for your efforts.
Could I ask you a question? Just list a couple or a few different alternatives that you might have to get some kind of matching funds or some money.
Okay, well, Courtney Graham is our executive director, and let me tell you, she and Dominique, our president of our board, have done a phenomenal job at reaching out. We've most recently received a grant from the Department of Commerce that's a collaboration with Love Bottling, and we are beginning the project with that money. You're going to see some efforts happening down there right away, the beginnings of Phase 1. That's just an example. We've also looked, and Courtney's a better source of this information, and she's getting ready to speak, but we've looked at all kinds of Main Street grant making, and that's the beauty of belonging to Main Street, that gives us access to these kinds of grants. And the City of Muskogee Foundation.
Thank you.
Welcome. Anything else?
No, ma'am. Delby Walker? There she is.
Hello, I'm Delby. I'm also a board member for the MLK Trust Authority, and I'm excited. I'm really excited about the 2.4 million. You know, when they built it, we are, the building and what it does every day is living proof of what they said they would do has been done. And every day of the week, you name it, there are agencies, there are schools, there are community members that are using the building. But most importantly, there's young children that are there every single day. And within 3 hours of the button being hit for those assignments to be open for kids to be registered, it's full. And we run 150 to 185 young children through there, and we need more rooms. We need more classrooms. So of course, in a big vision, it's an $8 million project that we would love to do. But this will help us get started with some additional classrooms. Currently, we have 6 teachers. We have an aide with each of those teachers, 25 children in those rooms. The summer program just was launched for people to register for it, and within 3 hours, it was full with the waiting list. We keep a waiting list of 120 people that want to be in there. My little boy is in the program, so I can speak to how wonderful it is. He's mad if he can't go. So it's a wonderful program. The building is wonderful. It is being used by the community. Every socioeconomic status participates and utilizes the facility. So it truly is a community center. One additional thing is that I've done some research, and cities all over Oklahoma fund and give resources to their community centers. So you're not alone. You're doing what is the norm, what you're supposed to do, what you're called to do by the citizens of this community. And I appreciate you, and I'm thankful to you, and I'm excited about the next leg of the Martin Luther King's. Thank you.
Thank you. You know, I say this, maybe you can sit down, but if any of you would go after school, 3 o'clock, 3:15, and go to the center, it's really remarkable. You know, you got little kids that they may be, black or red or yellow or white. They're all holding hands. Girls are kissing one another. They're just little kids having a great time. It's fun to watch. You know how everybody was when you were little bitty. And when they get there, a snack. Well, I'd like that snack every night for dinner. It's a dinner. And some of these kids, that's their last meal. That's it for the day. Now, everybody knows that today, a lot of us were latchkey kids, but today, mom and dad's working 2 jobs a day. So it's not that they're getting in at 6 or 7. They may not be getting in till 10 or 11. So times are tough now, and the best thing I like about it are all these kids getting individual tutors. They're getting help with their homework. Mom and dad, and it's tough when you've got time in kids to do math homework and science homework. You've had a hard day and you've worked hard, but these kids, the difference between failing when you're 3rd grade, 4th grade, 5th grade, and keeping up and then growing, these kids end up growing to be wonderful community leaders, supporters. They don't get into trouble. They know better than to get into trouble. Good leadership out there. Folks, and I hate to admit it, like Derek Reed. He's great with his staff. He's great with the kids. Everybody feels well respected. I can't think of a more wonderful center than that, and anybody that gets the opportunity to just go out there and watch for 30 minutes, I'd love for them to take me up on it. Ms. Courtney Graham.
Hello.
Hello.
For anyone that doesn't know me in the crowd, my name is Courtney Graham, and I'm proud to serve as the Executive Director of Main Street Muskogee. It is my pleasure to stand in front of you today to talk about how amazing downtown revitalization is. This is the main goal of Main Street Muskogee, is to make sure Muskogee's downtown is as bright and inviting to our public and to our visitors. As many of you know, the heart of any community is its downtown area. It is more than just a collection of buildings. It is a vibrant hub of activity, culture, and connection. When we invest in our public spaces, we are doing so much more than simply enhancing aesthetics. We are planting the seeds for economic growth, fostering community engagement, and creating an environment that attracts residents and visitors alike. To discuss a little bit about the economic benefits of revitalization, by investing in our downtown public spaces, sidewalks, parks, alleys, which is proposed in our downtown Broadway district plan, you're increasing your foot traffic, which means increased business for local shops and restaurants. Studies have shown that vibrant public spaces lead to higher sales and create jobs. When people feel encouraged to gather, socialize, and shop, we breathe new life into our economy. Our downtown can become a destination, not just for locals, but for tourists seeking unique experiences and local flavor. It also boosts property values. In the last year, we saw that 7 of our buildings were revitalized on the exterior and interior, and that's a lot for us. With the streetscaping and everything like that, we expect to see more of that with people seeing the investment that our community has in our downtown. Also, seeing our growth and community engagement, the parks, alleys, and streetscapes can serve as gathering spots that encourage interaction among residents. They are the venues for festivals, special events, and community meetings, places where friendships are forged, ideas are shared, and cultures are celebrated. Investment in these spaces sends a clear message to our community that our community values connection. Furthermore, revitalized spaces contribute to the well-being of our residents. Access to green spaces, seating areas, and beautiful surroundings promote healthier lifestyles. They provide opportunities for recreation, relaxation, and socialization. And then also infrastructure improvements will play a critical role in enhancing our downtown area. Upgrades to sidewalks, lighting, water, access to electrical outlets for events will not only improve aesthetics but also ensure safety and accessibility for everyone. Well-designed infrastructure will benefit our downtown for years to come. Currently, our downtown infrastructure is inadequate for events, safety, and even basic maintenance. Enhancements in this area will assist city staff and our own downtown ambassador in keeping our downtown safe and clean. Additionally, these improvements will encourage more people to explore the area, as better access to water and electricity will support future events in our downtown district. The positive aspects of downtown revitalization through investment in our public spaces are abundant. We stand at a pivotal moment in Muskogee where our vision for a vibrant downtown can become a reality. So I want to ask that we all embrace this opportunity to foster economic growth, enhance community engagement, promote well-being, and improve our infrastructure. Together, we can build a downtown that reflects our collective dreams and aspirations. And I look forward to working with every single one of you, city staff, and our community members on making that dream a reality. So if you have any questions, I know Ren was asking about grants as well.
No, thank you.
Okay.
No pun intended, but with this new restaurant down there, you get a little taste of what things may be.
And we're super excited about having that anchor restaurant in our downtown corridor. Just because of that restaurant moving in, there's 2 new building owners near that area that have invested just because of the restaurant moving in and with the possibility of this district revitalization. So we expect more to come.
I can see why you're excited. Thank you.
Of course.
Mr. Mike Gregg? I like your OSU orange shirt. Good job.
Yeah, or Texas, if you know you're looking at, or OG&E. Mayor and council, thank you again for letting me speak. I'm all about details, as you know. Don't have to explain that detail. And on the first statement, it says, take possible action to select projects with estimated costs on this 25 CIP. I have no problem with the, what you have here to do. I think all of it needs to be done. But as usual, I'm always wanting to know the details. So we have variance between different products on between 1, 2, 3, and 4. So there's increases most generally. What I'm looking for is where can I find, similar to what Mark was talking about, where can I find on the city webpage or wherever it may be, the estimates on building these projects and what you're going to do, how you're going to do it, and the strategy involved and the timing involved, and which is the order of the occurring. The next question would be, some of these will not have this problem, but is or are the infrastructures of water and sewer already fixed or going to be fixed first? Some may not need it, some may, I don't know. But most importantly, I think, you and I talked about accountability and transparency. Accountability usually occurs after you screwed up, and transparency tries to stop that. So I think what we need, again, as I've said over and over and over, we need to have the information available for people to look. And these days, I think giving people information to tell them what you're going to do and how you're going to do it, especially if it's going to vary between the two, you'll have a lot more support for any type of investment in the city with CIP, whatever it may be, or tax increase, whatever it is. I urge you all the time to give information, because you've had to already go through it already. I hope there is somebody in engineering that's been working you through this, to get the costs, because as we all know, things are not necessarily consistent right now. And so long-term commitment, we need to be sure that what we're doing, the costs are in line, and we know how to do it. If we have a project coming, we may have to shut one down. But anyway, I'm very concerned of where can I find the information on the website? Or when may it be there?
It will be after I consult with the manager who is familiar. There's already been research and bids or estimates on some of these projects.
Mm-hmm.
I'll get some definitive statements about those.
Mm-hmm.
Council will decide which first and how, or two at the same time or whatever. So council will get together and prioritize these and explain what the 2.3 million is, or the 3.2 maybe, for the public works facilities and everything. So I'm not even going to ask for Deputy Mayor's help. We will get that out maybe in short order, maybe 3 weeks. And as always, if you have other questions, call me and I'll try my best to get them answered.
Well, I'll just add one more before I leave. And last time, the GO-BOND issue back last year in August, the gentleman was sitting here explaining the 70-30% rule. Are these projects going to be in that same venue that you can take 30% of that money and go in the general budget?
I don't believe so.
Mm-hmm.
No, the sales tax does not go
Yeah.
to general fund.
No.
Okay.
Whatever is specified is specified.
Okay. But as we know, that there is a
No,
70-30% rule.
I remember.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't have any other questions, because just want to know about the details.
Okay, well, thank you. You didn't make me squirm too much tonight. I appreciate that.
It was an easy question, but a lot of information. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mayor Carroll, let me, once again, I'm going to go ahead and help you out early.
Thank you.
I want to just invite citizens to go to our city's website, as well as on our Facebook page. They do have the link for the 2019 CIP report. It may not have details, but once again, it shows, the projects that we set out to do, the progress of those projects, and in most cases, the completion of those projects.
Thank you. Yeah, everybody, please take note of that. Yes, ma'am.
I would just encourage you to see the downtown plan is available on the Main Street website, and it has all these details.
Everybody, the Main Street website has a lot of details about what they're working on.
And one other thing, we've gotten far in this discussion, so it may be to ease the citizens to put out the point, anything that we do tonight is not going to raise a 0.5%. This is a continuation tax.
No new taxes.
No new taxes. New projects, but no new taxes.
Okay, before we go on to council comments by other councilors, questions or comments, I was asking you the other day about funds, partial funds that would not necessarily complete our project tomorrow, but may in a few years. Martin Luther King Center in particular, would you like to comment on the opportunities, the kind of opportunities that you have to fulfill?
I'm not gonna scare Ren Stratton to death back there, but I would use for the example, in 2014, the Martin Luther King Center was in a 5,000 square foot building with no money. In 2014, we came to a setting like this and we got on the CIP. The CIP gave us an opportunity to raise, it was a $4.9 million project at that time. It was a $4.9 million project. It gave us an opportunity to get 2.5 off of the CIP, 2 point off the CIP. The City of Muskogee Foundation said, hey, if you get the CIP, we'll match the CIP. So the City of Muskogee Foundation matched it. Then they advised us to, get out and reach out to the community and get community buy-in as well. And so there was the Russell Ruby Foundation. There were donations from Dr. Daniels. There were donations to people in the community. So those opportunities are out there. No time that I have remembered, and I'm supposed to show my age on this council, I've been around for a couple of CIPs. The CIP is never going to give you enough money to do a whole project. And there's always going to have to be opportunities that we have to go out and either fundraise, we're going to have to go out and seek grants. There's federal grants that some of these projects will qualify for, as well as the City of Muskogee Foundation, the Medical Foundation, their grant, and as well as, once again, the Russell Ruby Foundation, the Kaiser Foundation. Those grants are out there, and those projects. And so in any of these things that we do, not only the Martin Luther King Trust, but other entities as well will be reaching out to those type of opportunities, as well as, once again, irregardless to what the projects may be, this is not going to increase the tax. There may be some good-hearted people out there that see these projects, that believe that we should have a downtown that's booming, and they might want to do some personal investments. It's a beautiful time for Muskogee. It's a beautiful turning point for Muskogee to invest in Muskogee. If we live here, we love here, let's invest here. Anything that we want to see grow, we're going to have to pay for it. We're going to have to put some money behind it. So that's just where we're at right now. And once again, what our action will be at the end of the night, whatever we decide, will not increase your tax. This is just an extension of the 0.5 penny sales tax, in which we have done year after year and has presented great results in our community.
Thank you for all that, for that explanation. Very good.
Can I answer that question for the library?
Sure.
Yeah, we are in a fundraising campaign as well, and we fully intend to take this $1 million and turn it into $8 million. Of course, the City Foundation, we applied there, but we will work over the next 3 years. This is a 3-year endeavor for us. We hope to raise the funds in 3 years. We have $8 million that we want to raise. The HVAC and electrical alone takes up $1 million. So this money would be spent on the air conditioning and the electrical. We currently don't even have a thermostat in the building. The heat and air is either on or it is off, and it's 1972 equipment. So we desperately need this money for that.
Thank you for that. I'm going to
Other money will be for, beautifying. We want to be a part of.
Thank you for that
Muskogee
information.
City.
Thank you.
So,
We
yeah.
appreciate it. Okay, before, I think maybe we'll take a show of hands on some of these projects to see what we might vote on or not vote on. Does anybody have anything to say?
No.
Yeah, so sorry, Mayor, you're open for discussion right now among council members, so you can discuss the projects, and then someone will have to make a motion, we'll do a vote.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Cranford, thank you.
You're welcome.
See, she's a good teacher. Any discussions?
So, I do have a question. Derelict structures is not in, so if we're choosing options, and we talked about derelict structures, derelict structures is not in option 2, nor is it in option 3. So if perhaps we choose either of those options, could that be amended? Because, I mean, if we're going to beautify our city and we're gonna do all these things, the derelict structure removal is vital to either option.
I would think that whatever we decide on could be voted on with an addendum or an amendment or a change. Do I have a motion from anybody to accept a particular plan?
Go ahead, Jamie.
Well, I have some questions. And I've been looking over this the last week and stuff. And not to sound all like, oh yay, but there's a lot of good things that are on here. And I'm not saying let's not do them, but it's the money at a 0.5 cent sales tax for 6 years doesn't seem like it's going to get it. Because if we do the number one, then you leave $6 million for streets, when normally we have about a $12 million street budget. Okay? And then we got downtown, which is, they need 2.3. Pat Box says they need 1.1. And then Public Works, $3 million for a roof, for a building and exterior stuff. City rehab, 2.3. So as we go down this list, and I look at 6 years, we're not anywhere close to getting people the money that they need for these projects. Now, we all agree that these projects are wonderful projects. But my biggest fear is on some of these proposals that we cut those budgets a little bit. We cut them, and then we take it from the streets, and then when our public comes back to look at them, they're going, you didn't spend the money the way you said you were going to spend it. And I know we're telling them tonight that, hey, all this money doesn't make a difference. I mean, it's going to make a difference, but it's not going to pay to complete the project. I don't care how many times you say that the 38,000 people, there's going to be at least 15,000 of them will come back and say, y'all didn't finish the project. And I don't want that to happen. And I don't want the Martin Luther King Center not to look like it can, that building that they want to build. I don't want our downtown street project to not look like it's going to look. I don't want our streets to falter either, because over the years, I was on the city council when we had less than a $500,000 budget for a yearly maintenance on our streets. When I first got on here 14 years ago, Derek? You got a better memory than I do. You were here long.
Same year, Jane, then,
Okay.
same year.
But I'm not saying we're gonna cut the projects. What I'm saying is there another option, like option number 3 or 3 or 4, where we can extend this out to an 8-year project where we can actually get the money to fund these? Because a 6-year, I don't think is gonna cut it. An 8-year would give everybody the money that they're gonna need to build their projects. It'll give the downtown street 2.3. It'll give Derek, not Derek, but the Martin Luther King Center a little bit more money. It'll give our street projects a little bit more money. So when we talk about taking care of our city, and I'm a big infrastructure guy, but if we really want to take care of our city, we don't need to cut ourselves short, because then it makes us look like we didn't do our job. We know that that's not enough money to even kick these projects off to where they're to a point where they actually look like we're doing something. So I would really like to take a have a conversation about maybe moving it to that 8-year plan where we have a lot more money to do stuff with. It's only 2 more years, and everybody's like, it's just 2 years. That 2 years makes a big difference in what we do. And because in 6 years, we're going to come back to you and ask for another 6 years. So what's the difference in asking for 2 more years added onto this to get the project started that people want? That's my plan.
Thank you. Do I have a motion on any of the plans?
I'm trying to speak.
I'm sorry.
I would like to, maybe we kind of regroup and not push something tonight, but regroup on one of this set of projects, because they're all great projects and they all need to be done. But we look at the 8-year plan and we see how, and we get more details of the expenditures for each of these projects and see how to regroup all this into an 8-year plan so we can accomplish our overall goal for each one of these.
Can I respond to that? We did that. We did that. We had communication lunches, and we left communication lunches with the conversation that we were going to go for 8 years. And, not to scare the community, when we talk about the economy, we talk about the uncertain future. Here's one thing we can be certain that, like Dan said, you will be certain that we won't be back after 6 years. It'll be 8 years before you see us again asking for another increase. But this will give us an opportunity to address issues. Here we are in 2025. The record can read in 2025 we had more needs. We had more goals than we had money for. And so we can go to the community. We can be straight up with the community. We have more needs than the money that we have coming in. We have more needs than the time of 6 years won't get us there. We need an additional 2 years. And I believe that if we go to the heart of the community and ask them to buy in, I believe that the campaign can be just the same as effective for 6 years as it is for 8 years. I don't think that we need to. I don't even know if we have time to regroup and reconsider. Katrina, do we even have time to regroup and reconsider?
If you want to call the election by the 28th of April, we do not.
And the danger in not doing that is that it elapses. The CIP elapses if we don't get in on that July election. Is that correct? Correct.
Yes, and you might ask Roger more specifics, but I think that we are already going to have a small lapse. But Roger knows the details on when the money stops.
No, if you go to the election, if you have a successful election in July, it gives a 60-day notice to the OTC, and if you have 60-day notice, the OTC will be continuous, so October 1 would be the first day of collection of a new CIP. If you do not make the July election, you will not collect that until sometime in 2026.
I would like to take council's pleasure on a vote. We can vote. We have 2 8-year CIPs we can vote on, and we've got 2 6-year CIPs we can vote on. And if somebody wants to make a motion on any of these,
I feel confident that, like the deputy mayor said earlier, about the matching funds we'll be able to get. And I would like to make a motion that we approve option 1 with the possibility of making it an 8-year. Is that possible?
no, we need to, tonight,
Okay, then I would make a motion for number 1.
1, 2, 3, or 4, and I'm in support of whatever the council's pleasure is.
Okay, can we continue with the discussion though, because Dan still was trying to say something.
Oh, go
And
ahead.
Before
Yeah.
we
Yeah, go
make
ahead.
this.
I'll withdraw
exercise
my
done.
motion until we finish this discussion.
So, so why can't we adjust number 1 to go with for 8 years? Is it just because we don't have the numbers in front of us tonight?
Use one of the 8-year plans.
Well, here's the problem with that. On the 8-year plans, the downtown the downtown revitalization project doesn't get their 2.3 million. They only get 600,000 on one of them.
And what's the other one?
500. they don't get in near what they wanted.
Could we,
That's why I was asking if we could adjust that 6-year to 8-year.
I think we can make a motion on any of these plans, but making an adjustment to the plan is part of their motion. Ms. Katrina, is that correct?
Yes, that's correct, Mayor. And someone can make a motion to adopt the plan with modifications.
Okay, so just taking the graphics as we have them, taking the graphics as we have them, and switching the 6 from the 8 is not going to get it, because that's going to change the dollar amount of what's going to be on the table. So we're going to have to go a little bit deeper than that. I believe we're going to have to go a little bit deeper than that. So if this is your graphic right here, so we just can't just change this to an 8-year plan.
No, you're going to have to take an 8-year plan.
we're gonna have to take
You're gonna have to take an 8-year plan, and with that 8-year plan, we can take that bottom number, and we can kind of adjust some of the allocations that we have in that grid, and then we can make a motion on that as that stands.
Could we update the figures this week and have that on the agenda for the 28th when we vote?
The problem with calling the election on the 28th, waiting until the 28th to call the election, you'll be calling it on the date we want to have everything in order so that we would have the paperwork ready for the resolution, and the ordinance that we have to do.
And we don't-
So then we'll have to have a special call.
Yeah, so April, we'd have to have a special call. So April 28th, if you call the election tonight for April 28th, that gives us time to do the resolution, the ordinance for the actual election call, the paperwork, and then you would approve it on the 28th. So we would need probably a special call if you guys wanted to change these plans or talk about them further than tonight.
Might I make a suggestion? On Plan 3, you can take $3,400,000, I think, out of City Hall Rehab 2.6.
could
You
you
can
take,
take 2.8.
could you take 2 million from that? And
We
put
can
it on
take two, we can take
downtown?
maybe 2.8 out of the City Hall rehab and only do partial rehab. And then we can use that money between downtown revitalization or anything else you want to use it. But that's the most simple thing we could do tonight. Everybody else is cool. So if you want to say, okay, let's take the City Hab rehab, cut it down to 2.6, that gives us 3.8, doesn't it? No, it gives you.
Mayor, may I have the floor real quick? So if we want to do the 8 plan, really the only place to take it's going to be is from streets. And you could take it, to get it, you just put the street program at 10 million and then move the 2 to downtown revitalization. And that's where you get your 2.6 million. It is an 8-year plan. Your street program goes down from $1.5 million a year to about $750,000 a year. But if we're going to ask for a matching grant from Foundation, that's still going to be more than what we normally would have. And then you're getting your 2.6 million that everybody's worried about, and that's your 8-year plan, which just changing the 2 numbers.
Can we see option 4? I think what he's talking about is on option 4,
Yes.
and option 3 is on the screen.
We just talked about 3, but now we're at 4.
Sorry. So if you just take your street program down to 10 million and you move it to the 2.6 downtown revitalization, you're at the 2.6. Pretty much everybody's within 10% than what they were asking for.
Wouldn't option
Is that
3
correct?
be better?
Well, it's an 8-year option, so I mean, you're looking
Right.
at it as 8 years. So we're stuck with these for 8 years.
The
I
3
mean,
or
that's
4?
what your risks are, is that you're stretching the money out, even though the money is at, 10 million for the streets, it's stretched out over 8 years instead of for 6.
I think that's wonderful and brilliant. The only thing that I would say, and I think Melody mentioned it earlier, is
The
out
derelict
of that
structure-
City Hall rehab, let's take some of the tearing down of old houses and put some money into that category. 'cause
Option 4 shows that.
I think
Option
neglecting
4
our.
has, option 4 has derelict structure removal, so I'm fine with it.
It does. And also,
Okay,
I
good.
think my fear is removing money from City Hall rehab is that this place is like pretty much duct taped together right now.
Yeah, we don't want to do that.
But
And-
we're not going with option 4, are we?
Well, that's what we're talking about,
Option
is
3.
amending option
Yeah.
4 to keep
Okay.
the dirt
Option 3.
structures.
We're
Did you say
amending,
3 or 4?
4, sir.
Okay.
4, yes. So,
saying
yeah, so
four?
that has a derelict structure in it for 200,000.
Okay.
I just don't think, I think that, you know, when we put all our eggs in a basket with the bond that we pulled to revitalize this building, and it's desperately needed. I mean, part of our job here is taking care of our employees that work for the city, that take care of our citizens. And if we really can't afford to take anything from City Hall Rehab. This place is,
Well, on the option 4 is only
it's 2.4.
2.4 million, yeah.
But that covers a certain amount. Well, Doctor, if you would make a motion.
Can I make a suggestion? And I got 3 board members in here that are probably gonna start throwing something at me. 6 million, you know, that's a good number for King Center, but I would love to see and make sure that our city hall is taken care of. Can we take, I'm sorry, y'all, can we take $1 million out of that, and still have plenty of money to get the Martin Luther King project started, to put some more in City Hall? I'm with Dr. Who's, we gotta take care of our employees in this building.
I agree.
So that's
So
a
that would put
3.4 at City Hall.
Put that at
Mhm.
5.
And then how much is that putting downtown
It's still
vitalization?
be, so if you did that,
And then we're gonna take some money out of the streets and put it in downtown,
2
right?
million?
so
Yeah.
that would be library rehab at $1 million, downtown revitalization at 2.6. Hatbox
That sounds
upgrades would
good.
still be at $1 million, streets would be at 10, public works would be at 3, that put City Hall rehab at 3.4 million. That keep contracted maintenance at 500,000, and that would change MLK expansion to 5 million. And then everything else would remain the same.
Can we make one more adjustment? If we took, if they're asking for 2.3, if we took one there and put it here for the library because they want to do 1-1.
So make it 2.5 for downtown rehabilitation and pick it 1.1 for library rehab.
Yes.
Yeah, that
They were
sounds
asking
good.
for 1.1, and that'll give them, bounce them out, and it gives downtown rehab 200,000 more.
And I think one thing that needs to be said, if we don't pass this, you all, we don't get to do any of this, none of this. And then when people are saying they don't know if they want to vote for this, this is important to our town.
And can I ask this question? So, let's talk about the projects in general. These are some of the calls that I got, leading into today's meeting. When we say street program, what is that definition of a street program? Are we talking about just going and putting chip and seal? Are we talking about doing overlays? Are we talking about some streets going and doing, you know, detailed maintenance on that? When we say street program,
So what we'll do, council, is we will take the 4 zones and divide them amongst equally, and we will continue to use the pavement condition index. We'll likely request a new one as part of the CIP to update us on the progress we've made and grade the streets as they are today, then equally distribute across all 4 zones. And as far as what treatment each street will get, we can discuss that with our street committee. That's what they are appointed to do. But we would definitely look to do things that move the needle in street maintenance and raise that PCI up and give us something as far as investment that will last in our largest asset in the city.
all right, that's a great response. So it will be a street program. So my next question would be, when we talk about public works, we specifically saying roof. Have we checked to make sure that we can get in that roof and get on that roof, and the investment would be worth it in actually putting that roof on that old building versus going out and getting, you know, some of the, as we talked, some prefab buildings and putting them out at the fairgrounds and just making some brand new spaces for public works? Is $3 million going to actually be an adequate number, and is the investment on that building going to be worth it through this CIP? That could be another, you know, that's another thing that I'm hearing people holler and scream about, you know, putting investment on that building on Cherokee Street.
And that's one of the questions that I have also, is because no matter how you cut that building, it's still a $200,000 to $300,000 building when we're done with it, with a $3 million roof. If y'all have that kind of, if we're gonna give you that kind of money, I'd really like to see also take another option B of that, or something if we can. I know I can't do that a whole lot, but like the prefab building, or maybe one of those steel buildings, maybe a nice, clean building, big, nice, I talked to Roger about it earlier today. I don't know if that's possible or doable.
You
I
could-
just,
you
if
could
we're
change
trying to
it
make Muskogee look better, let's make Muskogee look better.
Let's do it.
You could change it to Public Works remodel, and then that way it just takes that
Yeah.
exclusion away from being
And we
just
can
the
decide.
roof. And that way,
Yeah.
if the remodel just needs to be the roof, we have it for the roof.
Right.
So you just change the wording on that.
Because, I mean, we're sitting here with new businesses factories coming in, we got new businesses coming in, we got people that want to do stuff for our city. We need to step up and start taking care of our city, and start taking care of stuff, because that's one of our biggest complaints, is, I know, I hear people that get these code enforcement, letters. Well, the city doesn't take care of their property, why do I gotta take care of mine? Their roofs don't look good, why does my roof matter? I mean, the buildings you have don't work, why does mine don't work? And trust me, I've had code enforcement in my house like 4 times. They've been on me all year, so it's good. But the deal is we gotta hold our city accountable for these things. If a new works better, let's do new. If it doesn't, then we'll do what we gotta do. But it's time to step up. Let's do it. Let's move our rating up in the state of Oklahoma to one of the cities that people want to move to.
Okay, did somebody get down enough of this information where we?
Yes.
Put them in the magic spreadsheet.
Roger, can you, I think we're about ready for that motion. I think if you could give us those numbers again.
So on an 8-year plan, the project for streets is $10 million. The library rehabilitation, 1.1 million. Downtown revitalization, 2.5 million. Hat box upgrades, 1 million. Public Works facility remodel, 3 million. City Hall rehabilitation, 3.4 million. Contracted maintenance, 500,000. MLK expansion, 5 million. The Muskogee Civic Center HVAC/remodel, 1.5 million. Derelict structure removal, 200,000. And the port agreement, $2 million. The total project expenditures of $30,200,000, plus a 10% cost contingency of just under 1.4 million. So that would come up to just under the projected revenue with rounding of $3.18 million.
Just for clarification, for people that are watching this, because my phone's over here vibrating, so I know they are. The $2 million that are going to the port was that big nice berm that they built around our water treatment facility out there, so you have fresh water when it floods. So that's what it's going for. That part of that CIP is going to pay for that. I just wanted to let y'all know that.
We ready for a motion?
Ready for a motion?
If I can point something out just for clarification, because of the legalities of the CIP and the way things are worded. On Public Works, we're talking about doing Public Works building rehab. Really, if, in case we want to look at the options of a purchase of a new building, we just want to leave it at Public Works building. Otherwise, we're restricted legally to just remodel.
Thank you.
Let's do it.
Thank you.
CB?
I'll make a motion for number 4 as amended.
Second.
We have a motion and a second on item number 4 amended. Roll call.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
CB Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Absolutely, yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale?
Yes. Motion passes.
Can I thank all of the citizens, Counselor Hilton Flannery, Deputy Mayor Derek Reed, and myself who are part of this committee. This has been a long journey, and I just want to thank all of the citizens that were a part of the committee that made the recommendations for all of these projects. Thank you so very much.
Now go tell all your friends to vote.
And if I can point out, we also need a separate motion to call the election for April 28th.
So moved.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. Roll call.
Counselor, you mean call the motion, call the election for July 8th, not on April 20th?
I'm sorry, yes, that's correct.
So
And then
moved
we'll
as-
have the documents prepared for approval on April 28th for the
Yes.
July election.
Yes.
So
Thank you.
moved as amended.
Okay, amended. Motion and a second. Roll call.
Tom Martindale?
Yes.
Dan Hall?
Yes.
Melody Cranford?
Yes.
CB Abel?
Yes.
Shirley Hilton Flannery?
Yes.
Tracy Hous?
Yes.
Jamie Stout?
Yes.
Deputy Mayor Derek Reed?
Yes.
Mayor Patrick Kale?
Yes. Motion passes. We are now adjourned. Thank you, everybody.